it's going to be common law. And you have to prove that I violated your rights. Show me the property that I damaged. And frankly, I think I know the Constitution pretty well, so you're going to be in for a fight. Eighth Amendment says, excessive bail shall not be required, nor excessive fines imposed, nor cruel and unusual punishments inflicted. Define excessive. I had a $400 fine. I put down an $800 bond plus another $2,500 bond. That's $3,300 for a $400 fine. Is that a little excessive?
Yes.
10 times the amount of the fine? Can I go with the Eighth Amendment? Well, I don't know. It doesn't really say. Who's going to judge? So it's a nice sentiment, but I don't know that the Eighth Amendment has ever actually been used.
You go to common law court and see the judge.
The Ninth Amendment. Let's talk about the Ninth and Tenth Amendments together, because they are legal bookends. The Founding Fathers understood that as good as the Constitution is, there are probably some loopholes in it. The Ninth and Tenth Amendments attempt to close those loopholes. The Ninth Amendment says, the enumeration, we just list your rights, we're not granting them. The enumeration in the Constitution of certain rights shall not be construed to deny or disparage other rights retained by the people. Does the Bill of Rights say anything about a right to have children?
A right to privacy.
No. Doesn't say anything, but you have a right to have children? Yes.
A right to privacy.
You have Fourth Amendment doesn't say privacy, but you have a right to be secure in your person's, house's, papers, and effects. So that's privacy.
But since privacy is a right, it is protected under this Ninth Amendment.
Well, it's protected by the Fourth Amendment, too.
Well, okay.
Okay.
Not both ways.
But travel. Is travel mentioned anywhere? No. Do you have a right to travel? Yes. So the Ninth Amendment basically says out loud, even though we didn't list everything, it doesn't list the fact that you've got a right to have a nose. We didn't bother to put that in there. But we listed some of them. There are other rights that we did not list. So just because it's not written doesn't mean that the people can't do it. The 10th Amendment basically is just the opposite. It says the powers not delegated to the United States by the Constitution, nor prohibited by it to the states, are reserved to the states respectively or to the people. That says if it's not written down, the government can't do it. They can't assume powers. Oh, that's what they meant. You know, it's not written there in the Constitution anywhere, but I'm sure that the Founding Fathers intended that. No! You want to give the government more power? You've got to amend the Constitution. Anything that is not explicitly listed that the government is doing is, by definition, unconstitutional. And we, the people, it's about time we read it, understood it, and started writing to our congressmen going, look, you can't do that. How many people are familiar with the space program? How many people have heard of John Glenn? Right? Everybody kind of liked John Glenn? Somebody was trying to pass a law that says any law that Congress has passed, they have to reference the article and clause from the Constitution that gave them that authority. And John Glenn said, we can't do that. You know, we wouldn't be able to pass half the laws that we do. Oh, really? What does that mean? That means that, you know, the Constitution is going to put chains on Congress. Gosh, we don't want to do that. We wouldn't be able to do half of the things that we're doing to the public. So we've got the chains, we just don't have a lock. You take your bicycle and wrap a chain around it and you don't lock the two ends together. Is your bike still going to be there when you come back? Maybe not. Any questions on the Bill of Rights? Memorize them. They are very important. One short anecdote about how important it is. I mentioned it a little bit at lunch. I got pulled over by the police. They said that they were going to call a tow truck and they were going to impound my car. I said, oh really? I said, then you're telling me that you're going to violate my Fifth Amendment rights. Oh no sir, we're not going to violate your Fifth Amendment rights. I said, well, it sounds like it to me. Fifth Amendment says you can't deprive me of life, liberty, or property without due process of law. If you take my car, you're depriving me of property. You're not allowing me to travel to the airport, so you're depriving me of liberty. And unless you happen to be the judge, jury, and executioner, our little roadside chat here doesn't constitute due process of law. Now does it? I asked him if he had taken an oath of office to protect and defend the Constitution. He started to stutter. The next thing you know, he runs off to talk to his buddies, comes back, hands me my passport, and everybody jumps into the cars, they slam the doors, and the police cars all drove away. Bye! If you don't know your rights, you don't have any. If you're not willing to stand up for your rights, it doesn't matter whether you know them. You have to stand up for yourself. No one is going to do it for you. Let's take a break.
Okay.
You gotta get you fired up.